Welcome to my Fluent UI for Blazor Quick Start Guide. In this video, we'll talk about how you can create UIs that look like Microsoft's tooling, such as the new .NET Aspire dashboard, which is built with this exact tool. To get started, you can install the templates, which come with the full solution template or even project templates using the command line. You can then spin up a new app using the command line again using .NET New, or my preferred solution is using the GUI where you can click through in Writer or Visual Studio. There are a number of options you can configure, like the interactivity model and whether it's global or per component, but that's not too important for this. When you create a new project, the layout is a little bit different compared to the default Blazor web app. Everything is inside of components, which is a unique way of thinking about architecting a Blazor web app. Jumping into some components, the app.razor is where it all starts. This is what might be the index.html in old Blazor. We then have the routes app, which has nothing different. It's got the router and some layouts configured. If we jump into the layouts, this is where the Fluent code starts. Now you can see we've got a layout, a header, and a Fluent stack, which is like a flexbox layout. When I hit F5, we get this out of the box. Now this looks pretty Microsofty. The first thing you might want to do is change some colors, make it dark mode, so I'll show you how to do that. The documentation side is really awesome, and I'll follow the steps quickly here. So, in the routes.razor component, we can add this component here, so the Fluent design theme, which is a highly managed solution. So we can set the key, which is where the local storage will go to persist the theme. You can then add the mode, whether it's dark or light mode, and set your brand's custom color. If you want more configurability, you can set design tokens. But before we do that, we've got to wire up the JavaScript and the web component back in our app.razor. Now when I hit run, you can see the colors I set and the dark mode that I set. Looking pretty awesome. Now the design tokens I talked about gives you much deeper control, but we're just looking at the Fluent components, so we won't use that initially. But just be aware, you can look at the documentation and use it for your needs. Now, using their search, let's say I want to add a number component. What I'd suggest is you just type up the top and try and find what you need, hit enter, and you can look at the example. So in this case, let's say we want to put in a double. There's a demo here, and if I look at the Razor code for it, I can copy paste and kind of hack it to my needs. So let's apply this to the code. So jumping back to home.razor, out of the box we just get a simple hello world. Let's do a few things to it. The first thing we need to do is set the render mode to be interactive, because we're doing an input and we want the binding to actually do something. By default, everything is static server rendered. The next thing is let's add that component, which I just copy pasted from the documentation, and set the code below to bind that value and demo it on the screen. So let's hit F5 now and see what happens. Here I have a value, and when I click the up and down arrows, I get those values bound, and you can see the example double text is showing that that data binds. So if you want to learn more, I would look at the Fluent UI-blazor.net website and look at the documentation. There's a lot of videos on that homepage and lots of documentation about all the components and learning more about the Fluent/fast design framework. Thank you for watching.